Welcome to Fellowmind Industry Insights series, where we take a look at the trends and challenges impacting different industries and how our customers are transforming their businesses in an industry that's rapidly evolving. Fellowmind is an international company that helps accelerate the digital readiness of customers in various industries by using Microsoft Cloud solutions, encouraging agile development, implementing integrated platforms, and assisting end users to learn and adopt. The goal of Fellowmind is to make people enjoy working with technology and make technology work for them. The more than 2,000 people who work at Fellowmind love a deep dive into the challenges and ambitions that keep you up at night. And in this episode, we will focus on the financial services industry. And I have an industry expert in the studio with me, Martijn Euyen. Martijn, welcome. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
What's your perspective on the market? What is happening right now?
In order to have a good perspective on this market, we really have to take it to a global level. Because then we can see that everything is connected somehow. For example, we are barely recovering from the effects of a pandemic, and there is a war going on. Inflation rates are high. We are dealing with a lot of types of change. For example, technology changes, customer behavior changes, products and services change, and even business models change.
And what is the impact on the FSI market regarding all the changes that you just mentioned?
Well, there are actually three main areas that we can discuss in this broadcast. And these are risk management and compliance, customer experience and hyper-personalization, it's a big word, and sustainability. And the main message here is that in order to be relevant, stay relevant for customers and to be successful, financial services industry organizations really need to build meaningful connections.
Because if we don't do that, then what happens?
Well, if you don't do it, you're creating big challenges for yourself, because if you want to be able to adapt to all those changes around you, you have to invest in connections with customers, employees, internal and with your environment.
And I heard you say, otherwise it's adapt or die. But that is quite a bold statement. What do you mean by that?
Well, it means that if you want to deal with all the changes that are complex, that are wide, that are all kinds of varieties, it is in the connection that you create the value. So you cannot just maintain doing what you always did. You have to evolve. That's the adaptation part of what I said. And it's probably not sure that you will die as an organization, but you will change. You have to change the type of organization you are in order to be relevant to your customers on the long term.
And shall we take a look at the first topic that you mentioned, risk and compliance? What about it?
Well, if you work in the financial services industry, you know that risk management and compliance is one of the big areas where financial service industry organizations invest in. And there are three topics that are especially important here. The first one is know your customer and customer due diligence, what is all about knowing who you're dealing with. The other part is fraud detection and anti-money laundering processes. And the third one is all about creating the right environment, the architecture. So you have to modernize core systems like banking systems and insurance systems.
And what are the challenges that financial services companies are facing here?
Well, the thing is that as technology evolves, also everything that a criminal can do evolves with it.
Oh, yeah.
So financial service industry are challenging, or have the challenge that they need to evolve with it. They need to stay on top of the game. And that is a complex and a costly process, because on one hand you want to serve your customers well, and on the other hand, you need to comply to the laws and regulations that are applicable. And then you also want to serve customers every day, again, with the best customer experiences.
But it is possible to do that, right? Although there are a lot of challenges. And on a more positive note, what are some of the opportunities?
Well, I'm a strong fighter for the human part of the digital transformation. But we have to admit that technology can be a great differentiator here. So technology can, for example, like artificial intelligence, it can analyze huge amounts of data by which anomalies in the data can be detected. And this is, for example, very important when it comes to fraud detection. You can use platforms to automate processes, to make them less prone to errors, to make them more efficient. And a big advantage of technology is that it is scalable. So you can rely on it 24/7.
Yeah, in comparison to people who sometimes need a break, right?
Yeah, that's right.
But can you give maybe a concrete example? Because moreover, people remember things by hearing a good story.
Of course. For one of our customers, we built a solution that wasn't that high-end, actually. It's not always artificial intelligence or RPA that needs to be applied to make a difference. We built a portal for one of our customers who is active in the asset management. And we used that portal to support customers to fill in their information when they wanted to become a customer. So what happened is that the people that filled in their information, they could take a selfie, they could make a picture of the ID, and then they got validated, they were checked against data sources to see if the people were on a sanction list or politically involved. And the data that was put into the form landed in CRM, and then after all those checks already were done, risk officers or risk managers could add extra data and do the checks after the first check far more efficient. And this is really important. This is a nice example of creating connections with customers, but also facilitating collaboration, so the connection for employees.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, talking about speed, speeding up.
Exactly.
And you also mentioned customer experience and hyper-personalization as a key area for FSIs in the beginning of our talk. So can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Sure. When we're talking about customer experience, this really is a key differentiator for financial service providers, because most of the products and services financial service providers offer to people, they are a commodity. Most of the people don't even know who their financial service provider is. Mm-hmm. When they are in contact with their financial partner, it's because of loss, damage, maybe a mortgage they need, pension they want to have. And these touch points aren't that often there. And just at those moments you need to be there. Mm-hmm. And you have to make the difference in the experience of the customer. And hyper-personalization is the best way to make you feel special, to you be seen as an individual. Mm-hmm. And what it means is that you offer the channels that you want to use, that you use the right content in the channels that you use, and that you deliver it on the right time, in the right manner. That's what hyper-personalization actually is.
Nice, because that way we can differentiate ourselves, right, from the competitors. But of course, also in this area, we have some challenges. What are the challenges?
Of course, there are challenges. And because when you look at the financial service industry, there are a lot of big organizations with complex organization structures, decision-making processes take a lot of time. So that's a challenge in itself. The other challenge that we're dealing with is that data in this complex structure is often scattered, and it is in old infrastructures. So that makes it very hard to use the data to bring the best customer experiences. And the last one is that the margins in the financial service industry are thin. So there is a big focus on costs, which makes it very difficult to bring the customers into the strategy. Mm-hmm.
And I always like to make things concrete. So do you maybe have some tips for the SFIs in right now? What can they do?
Yeah, well, it is what I see in the market sometimes is that financial services focus on the technology, but it's actually the human part that makes the difference. So the tips that I have is embed the customer goals into your strategy and give them the right priority. But that's just one thing. The other thing that you really need to do is that you need to take a holistic approach to all the channels, to the customer service that you actually offer to customers, because otherwise you're just fighting symptoms. And the last one is, because you're working with humans that work with humans, employees that are working with customers, you need to invest and use a structured change approach, because that will make the difference between a success and a failure in digital transformation.
Yeah, and I would like to add one more topic, sustainability, because I know it's a very important topic, as it's at all our hearts, of course. What's your view on this?
Sustainability absolutely is one of the main topics for the financial services industry, because governments want FSIs to take their part in reaching those sustainability goals, but also customers want it right now, because if I, as a customer, want to deal with a financial partner, then I want to be sure that I connect with my goals. So these are two perspectives that push financial services to take it seriously.
And what can FSIs do in order to support and promote sustainability?
Well, there are two circles of influence, you could say. And the first one, we call this a tier, is everything that a financial service provider can do by focusing on their core business or the facilities they use to provide their core business, which is buildings, for example, or introducing the paperless office, or supporting people to be more aware of the importance of sustainability. So that's tier one. Tier 2 has a far bigger impact than Tier 1, because we know that financial service providers have a big amount of assets. They deal with a lot of value chain partners. And what they can do to support sustainability goals is make demands to those partners to produce more sustainable, or to make sure that everything they do is aligned with the sustainability goals.
Very clear. I think that if I'm watching right now, I know what you do. What's the next step? Martijn, thank you very much. We have heard trends and challenges about the FSI market. Zoomed in on 3 areas: risk and compliance, customer experience, and hyper-personalization and sustainability. How can we all bring this to a conclusion?
Exactly. So we looked at the bigger trends, we zoomed in on the challenges, 3 areas, and the biggest conclusion that we can draw here is that in order to, and I said it already, in order to be relevant now and in the future for customers, but also for employees and for the environment, as FSPs need to invest in meaningful connections. Meaningful means that you do not only say that you use the right channels, but you really focus on the human-to-human connection. And that's far more than technology. And if you do that, then silos go down and innovation and ideas spread. People can collaborate far more efficiently and even comply with the laws and the regulations that are applicable to the FSI industry. And not to forget, because it's one of the most important things, it's all about your customer. So in the end, at the end of the day, customers need to be sure that they are with the right financial partner. And if you do this all right, if you do this sustainable, yes, that's correct, then you can even make a big contribution to sustainability goals as well.
And final question, what can FSIs do today to start their journey to become more connected?
Well, the first thing is take a holistic approach to your business. Because if you do that, then it is far more easily to make a roadmap and point out where your priorities are. So take that holistic approach. The second one is put humans first at the center of what you're doing and not technology. And the third one is you always have to be aware of the fact that technology is just an enabler of human connections. It's the humans that make the meeting.
Beautiful. I mean, people at the center, people at our heart. Eh? Right? That's what Fellowmind stands for.
Correct.
Thank you very much for being here, Martijn. It was very interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you. If you would like to know more about the trends and developments in the financial industry, please check out the website fellowmindcompany.com.